Come join Kyle, John, and David as they go through what's on their playlist. Find out what's everyone's favourite at Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. We have a few segments, to be honest. In and out points, no celebs and the gossip. Back in time where we talk about the big M's, coming attractions, what the cue. Quick checks, who'll be laughing? You abundantly. Welcome to Dual Redundancy.
Yes, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you can hear all latest in television, entertainment news with too many hosts with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is...
John Berwick, and a third one is...
Kyle Bridger. I would say that I am the Albie DeGrasso to John's Papa Smurf, Bert DeGrasso, to Dave's Dominic DeGrasso. You are dad.
I'm the middle child.
You
I
are
guess
the
middle generation.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You're the big Hollywood producer.
Yeah. Kyle, we got something in common. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the White Lotus, the big finale tonight. No spoilers yet, but a little bit later on, we will be spoiling it because we're talking about the finale, all of season 2, breaking it all down. We also have some nominations to talk about, some breaking news about HBO Max that came out just less than an hour ago. We added it in last minute. A lot to discuss. John, what's the first segment?
In and out points.
In or the out.
In
Or the out. In, out.
Yes, it is in and out points. I guess we'll talk about it. I was debating about discussing this. The Golden Globe nominations, the 80th Golden Globe Awards, they came out today. And for those who remember, last year, NBC decided not to air their ceremony after a series of pretty damning investigative stories from the LA Times, about the Hollywood foreign press's lack of inclusivity, its shady ethical practices. It caused a lot of places like Netflix and Warner Media to boycott the ceremony. So, of course, NBC decided to pull the plug on airing the ceremony. But they said they've changed. They've introduced a number of reforms. They diversified. We shall see. We shall see if they really have changed or not. Until then, we do have the nominees that came out today. They do film and television here. Let's start off with film. We don't have too much to say yet, I don't think. But for the films that are nominated, The Banshees of Inisherin led with 8 nominations, followed by Everything Everywhere All at Once with 6. Mm-hmm. Those 2 films join Babylon, Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, and Triangle of Sadness for Best Film Musical/Comedy. They do that musical or comedy, even though it's been how long have we actually had a straight musical? But any initial thoughts on this list?
What is the Banshees? Is that a thing? I've not heard about this.
It is a thing.
Isn't Glass Onions not out yet?
Well, it technically is out. I mean, it was that 1 week release. We talked about it last week.
Right.
Yeah, come on. You don't remember that?
I was busy that weekend.
What's crazy is everything everywhere all at once feels like forever ago. And then some of these others, it's I haven't even gotten a chance to.
Well, some of these haven't really technically come out wide yet. It's always that limited release. It's always, the awards consideration. Babylon doesn't technically release really outside of critics until the end of the month. Same with our dramas we'll talk about in a second. Glass Onion was only that 1 week. Netflix at the end of the month. They always do this. It's that cutoff as long as it actually comes out for everyone else. So when the ceremony airs in January, you would have seen these movies hypothetically, even though, again, who's going to be rushing out in that 1 week to see all these films?
Yeah, but I feel with the Golden Globes, they always have that one movie where you're this doesn't belong. Why is it? Or 1 or 2 of those where it's why is this here? So, I mean, not even us having that much of a chance to watched these yet. It's like, which is gonna be that one? Is it gonna be Babylon? Is it gonna be this or that? That's like totally outside of the category that it should be in.
Well, yeah, I mean, they love to stretch the comedy title as much as they can. Because I don't think, some of these are, maybe dark comedy, maybe they have a little comedy edge to it, but these are dramas. Like, these are, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, sure, there was comedic moments in it, but fairly dramatic. It was, and The Martian was a comedy. Was it? Like, we can look at the drama nominees. These are the drama films up for Best Picture: Avatar: The Way of Water, Elvis, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun: Maverick. So, again, Elvis is not a musical?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, Rocket Man was comedy musical nominee, but Bohemian Rhapsody and A Star Is Born were drama films. Like, make it make sense.
This just feels like they're like pulling weight for someone. Like they're helping somebody out here or something.
Yeah, they're just trying to, spread the love. Okay, if we put this one over here, we can get this group in that nomination, and because overall the drama category is usually more stacked. Like, if you actually did straight drama, like that's the actual nominees, and then you have to fudge some other ones as comedies to make them recognized. But we're gonna have to wait and see on Avatar. Comes out oh my god, it comes out this weekend, I believe. That's wild.
Wow.
It comes out quickly.
I won't believe it until I'm there.
But I mean, they must have some kind of idea at this point, because they're already doing pre-sales, I saw.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So they must have an idea how big it is already. I don't know.
I'm sure it'll be big in the beginning, and I'm sure it'll make money. I just don't see the cultural
who's lining
relevance
up for this.
People will see it, but people don't like. This isn't a Marvel film. This isn't like I'm going to own the T-shirt and the bed sheets and the water bottles.
The thing is I think you could have another big word of mouth situation.
I think people are just curious, like, oh, what's this one about? Like, is the tech going to be there? Is it going to be a train wreck? Oh, I'm just intrigued by that, and then it'll drive sales.
I think it could be another word of mouth situation where somebody's like, I'm not really going to do it. Then you'll have a few hardcore that are like, yes, I'm going to do it, and they'll probably, with those, will push it along and say, hey, yeah, you should check it out or whatever. But I think if you're into Marvel movies or something like that, I think you'd be going to something like this.
Yeah. But we're Duckies in the chat saying, gonna go get my 5D IMAX with moving chair and water spray experience tickets now.
Sweet.
You better be careful, because it is the Way of Water. There might be a lot of water spraying in your face for this one.
It was like the Disney, like the Bugs Life thing where they, spray air underneath your seat and, oh, the stink bug.
No, thanks. Top Gun Maverick would have been cool seeing 5D IMAX if you could have, with the moving chair.
Put you in the actual jet seat.
Yeah. Tom Cruise was actually snubbed, though. Maybe people thought he might get some love, bringing back movies, the A-list star. I mean, the Globes love their stars, but it was last year, 2021, when Tom Cruise returned his 3 statues that he has won for Golden Globes. Like most people, like those companies I mentioned earlier, people were not happy with the Hollywood Foreign Press. And I don't know, maybe with this return of the statues, he's like, okay, we're not going to nominate you then. Who knows?
Maybe he asked not to be nominated.
That's also possible. I mean, those publicists, they do their magic behind the scenes in some of these. Will Smith not nominated for Emancipation, the Apple TV Plus film, obviously banned from the Oscars, but I feel like this kind of drama, just the talent drama is something that they would like. I feel like the tune in, for what's gonna happen. The Ricky Gervais, comedy hour, is he like that kind of, they love that kind of talk. But same with like Harry Styles for either My Policeman or Don't Worry Darling. Would you have deserved it? Probably not. But like also he's an A-list movie star that they love. So
yeah. But didn't Apple TV sink a bunch of money into that Emancipation?
Yeah, no,
I think there was a big headline about like they sunk a bunch of money. It was going to be their Oscar film, and then he goes and does that. Oh man.
All right, let's talk about TV for a little bit here. Abbott Elementary led with 5 total nominations, followed by The White Lotus, Only Murders in the Building, Pam and Tommy, and Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. They all tied with 4. They have 3 categories to mention here. For the drama, we have Better Call Saul, The Crown, House of the Dragon, Ozark, and Severance. Musical or comedy, we have Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, Wednesday, and then limited or anthology series, Blackbird, Dahmer, The Dropout, Pam and Tommy, and The White Lotus. So any thoughts on that, Kyle? Any of those nominees?
I gotta say, I think it's pretty strong overall. I would say those are pretty strong categories. Like to me, Ozark feels like another lifetime ago still. And as far as the musical or comedy, I think I don't know Wednesday.
It's huge, yeah. I don't know anything about it, but it's wild that like it just came out, already made the list. They always they like stars and they like new. It's always like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I remember only aired like 8 episodes or something, and it won like 2 Golden Globes, including comedy series, its first season. It's like they just like to anoint new stuff. Again, The Bear comedy.
Yeah, there are funny moments in it, but it's definitely high stress. It's like it could be in like that Atlanta mold,
which they would have put in comedy because it's half hour. But if you look at some of the shows that were kind of snubbed, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, the $1 billion Amazon series, totally snubbed. But like you have something like House of the Dragon, though.
I just don't think it's a snub because I don't think what's deserving of something, the fact that you put a bunch of money into it.
I'm saying for Amazon, this was their play for Game of Thrones, so it was snubbed because they were hoping.
Well, that's true. Yes,
that's the snub because I don't think it's there at all. But you guys watched it more than I did. But yes, shows like Stranger Things, Handmaid's Tale, This Is Us, they were also not there for drama series. And then for comedy, at least for the top comedy award, Barry, Atlanta, Marvelous Miss Maisel, What We Do in the Shadows, all missing there. And then if you look at limited, Welcome to Chippendales. I feel like again that would have been catnip for them. The behind the scenes drama. They love Pam and Tommy. They love that kind of like true life real series. What's not to like about that for them? But I do want to talk a little bit about supporting performances as well, because they're always weird with the Globes, because it used to be one giant category. Well, I guess 2 giant categories: supporting actor in a comedy, drama, or limited series, and then supporting actress in the same 3. But now they're actually doing it as 2. So you have drama and the comedy musical all together, and then you have the limited all together. Still, male, female, actor, actress, but it's now separated into at least 2, which kind of hurts the drama, comedy, musical people, because there's still a lot of people in there. And that's why you have some snubs, like no Matt Smith for House of the Dragon, no Ray Seahorn for Better Call Saul. They're blocked out by the other drama folks. Abbott Elementary had a couple supporting performances blocking Ray Seahorn. So it's just weird how it's like we always say that there's a lot of anthology nominees, which is true, but there's even more drama and comedy nominees than that. So that's where it's like I think we just need to expand a bit more, because
why did they give a reason why they would do that?
Maybe by next year they'll finally do it correctly. They're still working on it, because it was again one giant pool before this. But I think you just need more nominees. It's like you have the Critics' Choice Awards real quick. they did it better with 6 drama, 6 comedy categories. I mean, the supporting actress in a drama included Millie Alcock, Carol Burnett, Ray Seahorn, Julia Gardner, Jennifer Coolidge. Like, they had a good group of nominees. I will say real quick, Emma D'Arcy for she was Golden Globe nominated today over Millie Alcock, who got the Critics' Choice over Emma D'Arcy. So one group picked one, the other group picked the other. I'm personally with the Millie Alcock group there.
But it would just be hard to measure. Like, I'm looking, somebody from Abbott Elementary with somebody from The Crown or like The Old Man. It's just like totally different vibe.
Yeah, apples to oranges. How do you compare them? Like,
yeah, I mean, back in the day, well, I guess back in the day, I mean, just like last year or the year before, normally in this category, the 5 supporting performances when it was everywhere was just like drama performances. Because sometimes drama is easily like more I guess celebrated and more like easy to recognize than sometimes comedy. And also people have different comedic styles, but when you watch a drama performance, like, oh, that's acting. That is acting, you know? But if we talk about those limited supporting nominees, I mean, for White Lotus, which I guess is a limited series, question mark. They recognize Jennifer Coolidge, Aubrey Plaza, and F. Murray Abraham for season 2. Those were the 3 nominees from all of our supporting performances. Okay, I could see Coolidge. I could see Aubrey Plaza for sure. I love F. Murray Abraham in The White Lotus. I don't know if he's top 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's some other ones in that series that deserve it over him.
I mean, he does a lot with a little, I think, that they give him. He was a strong actor in a small character role kind of thing.
Yeah. But the Globes still are globing. I saw they nominated like Hilary Swank for Alaska Daily on ABC. It's like, okay, anyone talking about that? Oh, it's Hilary Swank, Oscar winner. Oh, Julia Roberts, she was in something. Gaslit. No one talked about it, but let's nominate her. They still are doing that classic thing. I'm just curious if anyone's going to be even tuning into the ceremony. I mean, because ratings are always down, but this year it's on January 10th. And if you don't have your calendar out, that's a Tuesday.
Wow.
It's going up.
Okay. Why?
On a Tuesday. I think it's something with football.
I'm sure.
Something else. I don't know. Maybe. I think they have Monday night, or I don't know.
So basically, they're being pushed back. It's like, well, football, and then also this other thing on Monday.
Yeah. Whatever. The Voice is on Monday, so we can't push that or whatever it is. It's just, I hope it gets like, you know, the NCIS rerun on CBS is gonna beat it in the ratings probably. But will the stars even show up after all the controversy year before? It'll be really interesting to see.
But also, who's going to a red carpet on a
Tuesday?
On a Tuesday, no.
Yeah, maybe there's like good sales though, because like on some events, like, oh, you're doing a weekend wedding. You know, if you could save a little bit of money if you do a day wedding. It's like, oh, maybe that's what they're doing here. They're trying to save some money. But all right, that's it for In-N-Out Points. We have this segment that we kind of dive into about Netflix, where we ask, what the Q?
What the is going on?
So I got a couple Netflix In-N-Out Points, and that's what we're going to talk about in this segment here. First, we're going to do a quick look at the top 10 of Netflix right now. We just pulled this a few minutes ago. This is what the top 10 TV shows are in the U.S. And I'll read through, let's see, 10 to 1 here. From 10, we have Love Island. 9, The Crown. 8, Dead to Me. 7, 1899. 6 is Snack versus Chef. 5 is Too Hot to Handle. 4, The Unbroken Voice. 3, Firefly Lane. 2, Harry and Meghan. And number 1, Wednesday, the Golden Globe nominated Wednesday. Last week I saw it was noted it garnered over 752 million hours streamed, making it Netflix's number 3 all-time English language series behind Stranger Things and Dahmer, and it's on its way to possibly pass Dahmer. What do you think of this top 10, Kyle?
Well, I can tell you, Jess binged Wednesday.
No, she's one of the million
in one night.
Wow.
One night. She stayed up and watched it. But Harry and Meghan, that was another big popular thing that I saw
a couple episodes of that this weekend.
I have not seen any of it, but I've just seen people talking about it, so that makes sense. I can understand I feel like I always see Too Hot to Handle somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at that thumbnail, Jesus. Like, okay.
Yep. And The Crown, I mean, I would expect to still be up there because, you know, people are still watching it. It's like come back for them. I imagine it's a somewhat of a big show for them. And, you know, everyone talks about Love Island. I feel like that's the trashy show that everyone watches secretly or something. I don't know.
What I've noticed with the Netflix top 10 recently, there is so much reality in this.
Yeah.
They spent all this money on these big like budget movies and TV shows. And then you look at this, it's like, I guess technically 4 reality shows, really. If you think Harry and Meghan, Too Hot to Handle, Snack versus Chef, and Love Island.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when almost half your top 10 is just like reality, you know, dating shows or cooking shows, it's like, okay.
Well, it's like you can make so many and it's so cheap, and I people love that trashy TV that, you know.
Well, let's see here. And then you might have to come up with some more stuff here because research firm Parks Associate annually releases rankings of streaming services. And for the first time, Prime Video has upped Netflix as the #1 subscription streaming outlet in the US.
Wow.
While Amazon is very tight-lipped about their stats, Amazon has over 200 million Prime members, 100 million subscribers checking out Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power worldwide. Meanwhile, while Netflix has 223 million subscribers, growth has certainly slowed down. We've talked about it. It even went down a few points this year. They had some off quarters. This was one of the main reasons that, you know, it finally caved and released a cheaper ad-supported tier. So Prime Video #1, Netflix #2. We have a full top 10 here. We could show the list.
This is by subscriber numbers or viewership?
I believe it's a metric where they didn't release the full metric of what Parks Associate did in this thing, but a lot of it is based on, I believe, subscriber numbers.
That's
so
interesting because Amazon is more than just streaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Exactly. So, but they might have just said, okay, well, yeah, it's more than just streaming, but it's like that
they
means
have access to it
so much more.
Yeah.
And then Netflix was the story this year was it just kept slipping down and down and down. So, yeah.
Surprised to see Hulu back into the 3rd spot.
Yeah, I was surprised to see it over Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of switched from the year before. HBO Max holding steady at 5.
HBO Max is going to blow it again
Plus.
with that rebrand.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, that wasn't even in 2019.
Yeah, so yeah, the list is mostly the same. The only one that really kind of sneaked in there was Showtime dropped off. Peacock joined the group. It broke into the top 10. 15 million subscribers for Peacock. I think the live sports and those first-run movies certainly helped.
And guess what? Based on the story we had of you, it's not good enough. No. It's like they're getting into the top 10, and even that's not enough.
No,
all these streaming services, I wouldn't be surprised if they collapse very soon or
next
something.
year.
Or they
all
all
just try and top merge. 5 because that's all that's going to be left.
It's like they try and merge because, dude, unlimited growth in subscription. The viewership is, you know, it's too thin now. There's you've waylaid them with too many subscription services. It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, let's see if they have any new ideas on Netflix, you know, for 2023 to stand out and become #1 again. They have a show called Kaleidoscope. It was formerly titled Jigsaw, and it's a bank heist series that's going to drop on January 1st, and it offers a non-linear episode structure, meaning you can pick the order of the episodes as they sift through the story. Interesting. John, what do you think about this?
If the content is good, I think this could be really cool. Just because, once you and your friend have finished watching it, your experiences could be completely different, and I kind of was, well, when I first read it, I was thinking like, is it going to be something where like, not quite like Memento, but like where you bits and pieces, you're piecing from different parts of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
the jigsaw component.
Yeah, but I like that idea. Again, I need to see them pull off the story and pull off, the technical stuff. But I could see this being pretty cool. Maybe it's 8 episodes and each one follows a different person, and as you watch them go through, you get more and more info as to why were they able to get away from that situation, and like it turns out somebody unrelated was doing something. Like I don't know. I think it could be. I think it could be pretty.
I'm very curious how this can be pulled off, especially as like a bank heist mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Like anytime it's like a mystery, because it's like one thing. Like Arrested Development did this season 4. It's like and they try to do it with comedy, with setting up jokes, punchlines, and stuff like that. But in anytime, like now you're gonna do it with a mystery element, with a heist, like. Well, and I'm just curious, like, will Netflix put it in a random order, or is it still going to be like the same order? Because like that could also influence people. People are so used to hitting play, let the next episode go, unless at the end of the episode it's like it brings you back to the home screen. It's like, okay, pick an episode.
Wasn't I'm blanking on the name of it.
Bandersnatch?
No, not Bandersnatch. The other one in that group. Shoot. There was that series of the like the futuristic horror stuff. Like
I don't know.
Wasn't there a show with like Sharon Stone or something?
Oh, Mosaic.
Mosaic.
It was I think it was kind of like a choose your own adventure, kind of like.
Is that what you're thinking of,
Bandersnatch?
John?
But it was like instead of scene by scene, I think it was like episode by episode.
Yeah.
You can it was like a flow chart type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, you gonna maybe check out Kaleidoscope?
Black Mirror.
Was it Black? Oh yeah, it was.
Didn't
Black Mirror
have a season that everybody had a different
season? It was.
I thought they had a season where everybody got a different order, or am I completely wrong?
I don't know, because I feel like their seasons are only like 3 episodes usually. So like,
I thought it was more like 6 or 8. I don't know. I could have sworn maybe it was not Black Mirror, but I thought there was a show that they had where they were randomizing the episode order for people. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
As far as I mean, I would be down for something like this. I honestly would get annoyed though, even though it's meant to be viewed in like different parts. I would be annoyed if it wasn't like done seamless, where it feels like, where it feels like, all right, started the scene now, and we like scan over, and it's like now they're jumping into the scene, and now they're starting to talk, rather than it feel like a natural, fluid situation. I don't want it to feel too like video gamey, even though I love video games, but I just don't. They're two separate things for me. Like I know what I'm getting from a video game, like I can interact with certain parts. With this, it's like, okay, I'm just watching this happen, but it feels fake. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it really going to depend on the story and how they pull it off. Word Ducky in the chat is saying, John, Love, Death, and Robots.
I just looked it up. It is Love, Death, and Robots. They randomized the order of the season. I think it was season 2, season 3. So I mean, that's nothing new. That one isn't as linear as a bank heist, I would assume, where like the episodes don't really
probably just like an anthology series. Yeah.
So I don't know. I that piques my interest. I probably will check it out just because I'm hopeful that they can pull it off as like something good. It really is going to come down to how their storytelling is, and can they write it so that individual episodes make sense in the bubble and then mesh with every other episode. That's really
it's gonna be hard, especially it's gonna be. Will they be able to do cliffhangers at the end? Like, because not really, because it won't pay off in the next episode.
No, but
necessarily.
I don't know. In my mind, every episode is gonna start and end in the same time frame. Like almost like 24, except it's not 24 hours. It's one chunk hour that you keep seeing over and over. But I don't know. We'll have to see, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they're doing this, and then they're going to be maybe venturing into live comedy at least. Chris Rock will be the first person to live stream a comedy special. He's going to perform live on Netflix. They've been talking about the live streaming tech for a bit, so this is going to be like a first for them to really do live content. So it's like, because if they can do this, a lot could be coming after that. I mean, it could lead to sports, they could lead to really some, the Oscars on Netflix or something. Like, it could lead to some pretty big events.
I would guess that they would be going into the sporting realm because that's where the money is. That's where you're going to get the advertisers and all that stuff, and that's what you want is that revenue.
Yeah, so those are some of the things that are coming up for Netflix here. One thing they may need to do to really get people interested again is change the name of the service. That's what always works, right? Well, HBO is going to be trying that a little bit here. After HBO and HBO Go and HBO Now and HBO Max, soon it may just be Max. News last week that Warner Brothers Discovery executives are close to formalizing a new name and platform for its streaming services after HBO Max and Discovery Plus merge, sometime next year. They're going to put these two services together, and possibly it's going to be called Max. Thoughts on this?
I have never seen a company work so hard to just keep punching itself right in the testicles at every opportunity it gets. I really don't understand, man. You've got a great subscription service and you keep blowing it up by trying to
just keep
remarket
confusing
yourself.
people. Just keep confusing people. Do I have HBO Max? No, I have HBO Now, but what's the difference between that and HBO Go? Do I need a cable login for HBO Go? Well, yes, but not for HBO Now. Just let the people subscribe to your streaming service.
Yeah.
Just let them.
But all in the service of, trying to get on board with this the Discovery Channel. Yeah. Again,
of all
Discovery,
things.
I mean,
of all things.
It's just so wild. And to know that apparently Discovery is bigger than HBO Max and can make all the decisions, it's crazy. I mean, I guess I underestimated how many people are actually watching like 40 Day Fiance and all that
the
stuff
Home
on
Improvement,
TLC.
Shows. But it's not final yet, but that's the likely choice. The code name internally is, at least of this project, is Beam, BEAM.
Beans.
Yeah, beans, beads, and bees.
They really beans the name over and over.
But lawyers are vetting other names, but the app itself will probably be very similar to something like Disney Plus, where you have the tiles where it's like HBO, Discovery, DC Comics, across the board, just like how they have Marvel, Star Wars, Nat Geo on Disney Plus. So that's probably what it's going to be looking like. Some worry that like the HBO name, might be getting diluted when they add in all these Discovery shows, the 90 Day Fiance, having them all in one place. It kind of, it's like, oh, HBO stands for this, not for that.
Yeah.
Also, HBO doesn't really carry sometimes the weight it does, in America that it does worldwide. HBO programming could go under, on different platforms around the world. So it may just mean nothing if they try to ever expand this service to other countries. But
I will say, more often than I care to admit, I search for HBO Go when trying to watch HBO stuff. Still to this day, and then because they still have a website.
Get used to it.
They still have a website for HBO Go, and you go into there, and it's like, oh, watch your shows, HBO Go, and it's like, that's not what I want. I don't have HBO Go. I gotta go HBO Max. It's just like, oh, it's such a pain.
And once you figure out that, you'll have to change it to just Max.
So is Go a thing still?
I think it might be in certain locations because they still have a web page for it.
Oh my god.
Wow. But who knows what's going to be left on Max, because literally just like an hour or two ago, some news broke that not only will Westworld, The Nevers, and Love Life be pulled from the service, but Minx, which was almost done shooting season 2, was now canceled, and season 1 will be pulled from the streaming service.
Pulled, even though it's already out.
Yeah, it's gonna be they're pulling it. So then maybe Lionsgate, which I think has Minx, can maybe sell season 1 and 2 to another service, because again, season 2 was like done. It's like the Batgirl thing. It was done.
So they're not even going to release it.
No.
Oh, wow. I thought they might still release it, but it was canceled after that
No.
season.
It's done.
Yikes.
And shows like, Love Life, which had those 2 seasons. Sure, that was an HBO Max show. They're stopping the HBO Max programming, really focusing on the HBO part. Still, just is going to disappear.
Yeah.
The one that is wild to me is Westworld. I know Westworld season 4 didn't have the views, but that's a huge HBO show.
Yeah, it was. Especially that first season was huge.
What is going on?
I
Tomorrow, are we going to wake up? We're pulling The Sopranos. It's like, what?
Yeah. I don't.
Nothing is safe. I'm just like, I saw somebody on Instagram post today that the other 2 was filming right now in New York City. And I was so excited. Yes, the other 2 is filming.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
Nope.
Because at any point, HBO Max could be like, nah, we're done. It's canceled.
That
Like-
stinks, man. Like, how much could the distribution of something like that, even if it's in the can, like how
Tax write-off.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it.
Do they have to pay like the producers and all that stuff,
I-
like a bunch of money if it keeps? Is that the problem?
I bet they. I mean, yeah, everyone still has to get paid. I think because wasn't it Westworld was it renewed and then canceled or something in
Yeah.
their
Because we
contract
talked about them
season
being
5, and
paid
they all
out.
got paid. So
Mm.
yeah, so they're still spending money. It's just we're not going to see it. It's just I don't understand. But
I don't understand either.
at least we have one show as of this airing is still on HBO Max, and that's the White Lotus. In order to talk about it, send us back.
In time.
We're back, baby.
Gotta get back in time.
The White Lotus season 2 finale. Arrivederci. That was the name of the final episode. I was not good with that. I kind of screwed it up a little bit.
At least you sounded better than
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I was
boy.
gonna say Mushroom Kingdom.
All right. Because
Boy.
we started with Chow, and now we're here. We're saying goodbye. After a week in Sicily, it is finally time to see who will check out of the White Lotus season 2 alive. And we're gonna break down the finale. We're gonna break down the season, everything about it. Spoilers are coming. Spoilers for the White Lotus. All right, let's start off with John. John, what do you think of the White Lotus season 2 finale?
I enjoyed it. I think a common theme that is comparing it back to season 1. Not as good as season 1, but still a great show. I really enjoyed it. Did not expect it to end the way it did, which was a nice surprise. Sometimes I feel like with TV shows
You're
like
such
this,
a hater. You hate that character so much.
The character, I'm sure she's a wonderful person in real life, but I cannot stand the character. And it was so nice to see her go out the way she did. We'll talk about it. We'll talk
We
about
will.
it. But like I said, comparing it back to season 1, I think we're always going to say season 1 is better. But I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad we got a season 2.
Yeah, it's neck and neck for me. I don't know. I go back and forth. I really like the season 2.
It was good.
Yeah, I think they're both really well done. But yeah, before I go too far down, Kyle, what did you think?
I really like season 2. Overall, there was some episodes that were really good. In fact, I think there was an episode, maybe it was the last episode, episode 6, that was really had me cringing. I couldn't it was almost hard to watch, but in the best way possible. But with that said, for me, I'm a definite season 1 over season 2 because I felt like some of the story arcs, the endings for them, didn't pay off as much. I was kind of disappointed, but overall, really, I loved watching this show. I enjoyed watching this show every week. It's the journey for me is better than whatever some of the endings were.
I definitely agree with that, Kyle.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the payoff happened with like one or two people, and the rest of it kind of ended a little too nicely.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is because they left certain things up to interpretation. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's probably why I like season 1 better. It felt a little more concrete.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he had more time to really think about season 1, before, a year later doing season 2. I gotta commend him for doing this because half the time we have to wait 2-3 years for a second
Mhm.
season of any show. We got this a year later, so he cranked this out pretty quick. I'm wondering if like the arc thing is because of something like, I'm trying to think, like season 1 just feels like there's less characters than season 2. Season 2, the world I think got much bigger when you actually count. I mean, there's even more people on this poster that we're not even seeing. Meanwhile, season 1, it's like, sure, you had that like kind of family of 4 or 5, if you even count like all those kids, and then yeah, the Steve Lacy, Daddario's character couple, and then Coolidge. So it's like this. It's like you already have like, the 3 guys and the foursome, and then you have Tanya and her assistant, and then you have the 2 escorts, and you have
Yeah.
there's a lot more people in this. It's a lot more people to give
Yeah.
arcs to.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll mention them as we, I guess, delve more into the characters about the ones that I didn't like and the ones that I did like. But yeah, we'll just go over that later. But I'll express my ones where I was like, oh, okay, this happened.
Okay, well, yeah. So I will say one of the things I really like just overall before we get to character by character is the setups. I think he does such a good job like playing the long game with storylines and setting things up that you don't
For
really
sure.
see as it happens. Like even just something small, because like, you have Dom with these 2 girls, and his father sees them, together, and then he later sees those girls in his room, and because Dom gave those girls access to the room. And then when he does see them with Albie, he can point to Dom with just a knowing glance, and it all connects because
Yeah.
and it's, again, we only get a few minutes per episode with each character, so you have to be very deliberate with your time, and he sets it up really well. And then at the same time, I love how Mike White like plays with us, where to me the whole like the murder, the death is like isn't that big of a thing, like a hook for me with the show.
Yeah,
I like it,
yeah.
but like I like just being in the world of the White Lotus.
for sure.
But at the same time, I love, it still intrigues me at points, like when, we see these little, like, is that it? Is that it? I mean, Greg, in season 1 with Greg, he was coughing a bit. It's like, oh, is that it? Is that it? Or no, just a red herring. And then here you have like Bert just keep falling down, hitting his head. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
is that it? Even like in the finale, when you have the 2 men wrestling in the water, it's like, oh, maybe this is it. It's like, nope, that's not it. Like, it's just they're playing with you all this time. Like, is this it? Is that it? But yeah, we'll go through these groups here. And I guess we should start with the person it ended up being, and that's Tanya. Unless we have a prequel, it's going to be quite hard to have her in season 3.
Get her out of here. Goodbye. See you later.
Yeah. It's Jennifer Coolidge is back as Tanya's twin sister.
Yeah. Oh no.
But no, I mean the season is like a season, I think, of cons, or at least attempts of conning people. And this one you have here where, I mean, this is what I'm interpreting, that Greg kind of hired or was working with his ex-partner, ex-lover, to possibly kill his wife in order to get her half, or at least his half of the money in a prenup situation here. Because it's interesting, like watching it back now, in episode 2 or 3, whenever he goes to leave and we see him on the phone with somebody, you're thinking, oh, he has another woman in the States. Or, no, I don't think so. It'll be really interesting to watch it back.
That's also why he was really pissed about seeing Portia there.
Yeah, because he didn't expect to have an extra person with Tanya. He had to come up with an extra plan. But yeah, for me, when I was first watching, I'm like, okay, is it going to be some sort of like, maybe not death, but some kind of like, was there some kind of cheating clause in this prenup where, and that this ending of the second to last episode, oh, are they videotaping this hookup or something like that to, say, oh, you were cheating. There you are, cheating. And I don't know, that's my initial thought on that. Were you guys expecting that? The other thing, like, what were you expecting with this, if at all?
That's where I was thinking initially. Up until things started going a little bit weird with Jack. That's when I started being like, maybe not. But yeah, I initially thought it was that, where they had somehow filmed her, they put a camera in the room or whatever, and they were going to be like, oh, we got you, I left for 2 days and this is what happens. Like, but apparently not.
Well, the thing that I was thinking of with that is they had the gun. They showed the gun in that episode. So I thought it might happen then or have some kind of effect sooner than it was. I didn't necessarily think that they were going to film her. I legitimately thought they were going to kill her. I just didn't know if she was going to get away or not, because I thought that Mike White would keep her around because I think they're like really, really good friends. So I thought that they were going to keep her alive, but that they were going to try and kill her.
At first, I thought it was going to be some kind of like misunderstanding, and it wasn't actually what it was. Because it's like, okay, yeah, there was the gun in the bag the night before, but maybe like that's just he has that because he is an escort and he just has it for his protection and stuff. But then it's like, okay, we pull out the black rope, and it's like I was waiting for like something, because like if you look in the boat, there's actually plenty of rope already in the boat. You don't need extra ones in the bag. But then it's like, okay, then we got the duct tape. It's like, oh, okay, now we're getting if it was just like one or two things, it could be like misconstrued. Oh no, that rope was to like tie you up in the bedroom or do something like that, But I will say, I love how like right before their first encounter, we see her go to the picture frames, and she sees this photo, puts it down, and then immediately like hooks up with the guy there. And it's like us at home, at least, in our household, it's like, I think that's Greg. It looks like Greg. It's like, we're not even married to this guy, and you don't recognize him. I know she was, on drugs and drinking that night, but even the next day she had to look at it again. It's like, kind of looks like Greg, but he has hair.
Yeah.
Like, not
he doesn't know any gay guys in Italy.
Well, Well, also the things like after she finds out that they're pretty much something weird's going on, she's being kidnapped. She like says to the one dude, she's like, "Is he having an affair?" It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, but
totally Looney Tunes.
There's another kind of setup line that we probably didn't notice until after the fact. Where in the beginning, Cameron is mentioning when they're all at the table, the foursome there. That like, because they're talking about like, husbands killing wives on vacation, that whole Dateline story thing. You're focusing on that because we just saw a dead body in the water. But no, he also says like these European aristocrats have no money. They have all these palazzos and they have no cash. And it's something with this here. It's like, yeah, this group, they might not have the money or as much money as they say they have. It's all like this big scheme.
Yeah, but from the very beginning, the vibe of this was weird. It was too smooth. Like, it was too easy for her to just like go into that social setting. Like, I don't know. It just reeked of like weirdness. Something weird is going on here between these guys.
Yeah. And well, she tries to defend herself. She just shoots up the boat. She was shooting everyone except one guy who managed to escape.
Who used the ladder to get off the boat? Yeah.
So at first I'm like, oh, it's gonna be pretty hard season 3 to have her in it when she's going to jail. I mean, the guy got away. She's going to jail. But then there was a little slip, jump, something or other there, and hits her head, and she's dead.
Yeah. I mean, for that character, it kind of makes sense with how like
completely
oblivious and just so like gone up here that it makes sense. Like,
there's no other way for her to go.
Buffoon's death. Yeah,
it has to be by her own hands. Otherwise, there's no. She has to be the one to kill her. There's no other way.
Yeah.
Mike White. There was a behind the scenes video at the end of the episode. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, but I watched it. And Mike White was saying there's a line in season 1 that Tanya says where it's like she's experienced all of life. She's done it all. The last kind of immersive experience she has, like she hasn't done, like or experienced, is death. And he kind of like took that line. He's like, maybe I'll bring her back for that arc and then, you know, show her death. And he even said, I loved how her death is like perfect Tanya. It was so derpy. That's what he said. It's just like, it's just like, I just love it. Yeah, it was just like, whoops. You know, of course, perfect Tanya.
Yeah, I will say her shooting and everything, I liked how they did that, because if you had shot it from behind, it would make her seem like this action hero,
star,
and that's
yeah.
not what she is.
Yeah.
So, and I'm glad that we faced from the front, because it is about the characters this entire show. So it was really about what she was manically going through there. I thought it was really well done doing that way.
Yeah, so let's see. Jabber0709 in the chat. Never thought they were going to kill her. Thought abduction until she paid, scam her, hack her account, but not do her in. Yeah. So yeah, I could see that as well. Yeah, watching all this, all I could think of is like, can there be any more deaths in season 3 before the White Lotus like shuts down? But then I realized, well, there's cruise ships, and how many people you know, are missing, get sick, all that stuff on cruise ships, and they're still going strong. But also, season 1, hotel staff member. Okay. Season 2, all the deaths were off of company property. That's good for insurance. So it's like, okay, you know, until there's somebody like in that one restaurant in Italy, you know, at the hotel there, I think we're okay. But
I almost lost the piano player. That would have been a bad one for them.
that could have been bad. But we can go quickly to her assistant here, Tanya's assistant, Portia. She was kind of cut off from all this, you know, from helping Tanya with her, because she's been her own adventure with Jack. Got a little worrying for I felt, you know, because this guy, I was like, what is going to happen here? Her cell phone's gone. He's leading her in this car. You know, I was starting to get worried for her, I think.
Yeah, I feel like he was hired to take her out and couldn't do it at the last minute. I very much got that vibe from that. But
yeah, I could see that vibe.
Yeah, Silver Blue 63 also. I thought her assistant was going to meet her demise too. If only these two talked a little bit more, I think they could have put it together a little bit sooner here. Even like the night before this whole event, Coolidge kind of leaving out the very important thing on the phone call about Jack and his uncle.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you should have mentioned that, and we could have got this puzzle together a little bit sooner.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think they have that kind of relationship to be like, oh yeah, the dude that you are, you know.
I think Jennifer or Tanya has that detailed stuff to give to Portia, but I don't think Portia would want to give it to Tanya. Yeah. But all right, so that was that. I want to go to the trio of men here, Bert, Dominic, and Albie. I love they came to Italy for this kind of family history trip, but instead waited until like the second to last day to even go and do any of this.
Yeah.
And they were not even prepared on that venture finally on the like second to last day. Instead, they were like, let's go to the Godfather filming locations. It's like, weren't you supposed to do something else when you're here? And that's just like sums up, I feel like, all these characters. They're so rich, but they're also so touristy. Like they're in Italy, and there is one restaurant they go to the entire week. Like the hotel restaurant, that is it. Even one of the characters, like, why are they even giving us menus? We know this thing back to the front. Like, but yeah, it's like they're so rich that they go to other people's, or they're at the White Lotus. They're spending God knows how much money at the White Lotus. And then they're like, let's go to another mansion for the night. Let's go to another yacht for the night. It's like, you're already paying one hotel. Now you're going to do two.
Yeah.
But anyways, they go on this family heritage trip. They brought Lucia to translate. She of course leaves, but they have the app. And I was like, they used it like once, like halfway through. They're like, we are cousins. And that was it. Like, it's like, maybe come up with a little bit more here, but I don't know. What did you think of their whole adventure here? The three of them, their storylines.
I mean, when you look back at their storyline, it doesn't really have, it doesn't really have much impact, you would think, but I don't know, just as like a father-son relationship, you can kind of get something out of that, you know. Albie's character is the absolute worst. I mean, he's like
Yeah.
the Ted Mosby
Ted
of this
Mosby,
whole
yeah.
thing. Yeah,
He is
just
naive to the
yeah, just absolutely stinks. But I love how you got like little bits and pieces of their entire family history, just by these chats that they were having,
Yeah.
and it went to show how people's experiences as children and growing up and their perceptions of love and what that means to family and stuff like that was interesting, just in the fact the guys together as the sons and grandfather or whatever. But this is one of the storylines where I didn't like the ending, because I felt like you could tell Albie was getting played the entire time, and that wasn't a surprise to absolutely anyone. And then he wakes up after giving up $50,000, and he just sits in bed. He's like, "Oh, I got played."
Dang it.
I got
And then he
played.
just like, I'm like, "Yeah, no, stupid
Yeah.
duh, dude."
Yep, the bad guy that was chasing, Lucia and him around, turns out wasn't that bad of a guy. Works at another hotel. He's smiling with her at the end. The con paid off. It all worked out. Yeah, it was kind of like, it was one of those things like watching. I'm like, is it this easy? Like, is it just what it sounds like? It just,
I
uh,
think it's unfortunate, but I think the three of them, the two escorts, and even some of the stuff with the hotel manager
yeah,
probably could have been removed and filled with other things, and it wouldn't have impacted the story all that much. I think the only thing that to me, the only place that it really hit was with Portia and highlighting her decision to not really talk to Albie.
yeah.
And that was
Well,
really
yeah.
the main
Yeah.
interaction with like the main story to
Yeah.
me, you know?
Yeah, and at least we would need some kind of the story with the escorts, at least for our next group we'll talk about with Ethan and Cameron and stuff, just to get that
Mhm.
whole storyline going. But yeah, there's like you mentioned the hotel manager. I think that was probably like the weakest spot for me. Maybe it's because like Murray Bartlett was so good in season 1 as Armand that it's just like I was expecting so much more from the manager
Yeah.
character this time around. And I just felt like the arc that they ended up giving her, I don't know if we spent enough time with her to fully like earn that arc. And I will say though, she had the line of the series. When Coolidge was asking her like who she looks like before the motorcycle ride, and she just, goes, Peppa Pig. That was the funniest thing I've like and supposedly it was improvised. So hats off to her. She added that line in.
That's great.
Yeah, it was so unexpected. It was perfect. But I don't know. Albie and I guess Portia are gonna be, I don't know, exchanging numbers at least. They meet up at the
Yeah.
airport after their own side quests, and now they're together. I like how he like mentions like, oh, did you hear about somebody like drowned and there's all these
Yeah.
bodies on the yacht, and like that was immediately after Portia was like, yeah, Tanya is not
Yep.
answering any of her calls. She didn't
Yep.
seem like that concerned, because like immediately after that, like, oh, can I get your number?
I wonder
Yeah.
if she was just like purposely ignoring it. Like he was
Yeah.
taking Jack's advice to not do anything.
Yeah, I
and
think
just
it
to get
was
the hell
that.
out of there.
Yeah.
And
Especially
she
'cause
wanted
the police should be probably like, hey, yeah, so your boss, she's dead, so maybe we want to talk to you because you're
Yeah.
with her on this trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so all right, our last group we'll talk about here, the Harper, Ethan, Cameron,
Yeah.
and Daphne
This
group.
one was making me so mad, dude.
Yeah,
So mad.
Okay, Ethan was killing me the last few episodes here, especially before the possible rendezvous between Harper and Cameron. Before that, it's like, dude, get over it. Tell your
Yeah.
wife the truth, because who cares about if you're impressing your college roommate who only
Yeah.
wants your money?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, if you just told your wife the truth
Yes.
from the get-go, you could have saved so much trouble later on. And
Yeah.
it was so annoying for me for him to say, after Harper is wondering about the condom wrapper, and he's like, when have I ever lied to you?
2 seconds
Now,
ago.
3
Yeah.
seconds
this
ago.
is it. This is the thing you're lying about. If
Yeah.
you said it was just casual drinks, at the bar, and then I'm
Yeah.
finding out that there was an orgy in my hotel room,
And they were
Like-
doing Molly and all that. Like,
You're like, what the hell? So that's what was killing me, and then it just spiraled. It spiraled into this. Harper unknowingly, maybe knowingly, does the same thing back to Ethan.
She knowingly did that.
see,
She admitted
I-
to it.
Yeah.
I have a big brain theory on this.
Oh, what do you
Oh,
got?
okay.
What if she didn't do anything because she knew Ethan was insecure and it would make him like pursue her and like
Well,
try
that-
and re-spark it, and she knew that like Daphne was like, you do what you got to do, and she was like, all right, I got to lie so that he thinks that he wants me again. I was wondering about
Yeah.
that the whole time. Is like,
That's what I thought initially too, but
Mm.
then so you're saying her admittance is a lie too.
Yes.
She's lying about.
Yeah,
Correct.
She
That's-
admits
that-
to a kiss, but
I think she's
was
lying
that
about
all?
that. I think
Yeah.
she could be lying about that to try and re-spark
Yeah.
what they had.
And I mean, the way Aubrey Plaza acted it, you could watch that scene and be like, "Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you are lying," because she's like, "Fine." You could see it as like Ethan is yelling at her, so she's breaking down just to give him anything that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, dude, yeah, I don't know. You could be right,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the other thing is like, well, Ethan may have found something
May
in
have done
something
something
else too.
Yeah, because Ethan tells Daphne, and was first of all the look on Megan Fahey's
Oh,
face.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
whole 30 seconds of her computing all that, whether it's just because I think she knows, at first when I first saw it, it was like, okay, Cameron did this to me. But then I was like, no, she knows that Cameron does his
Yeah.
The
thing.
one person
So
she
I think
thought
it's
was a
like-
friend.
Harper, exactly.
Yeah.
Like she trusted Harper and all this. So she's now thinking, wait, Harper backstabbed me and stuff. So there's so many
Yeah.
emotions going on there. And then brings Ethan to this other island, possibly for their own little rendezvous. But
Yeah.
it's like we don't know. And whatever it was, I guess it was the relationship spark they needed because
Mhm.
Ethan finally, has sex with his wife, Harper. Finally, after a whole week of not wanting to,
Bemoaning
Oh
about
my
it.
god.
he finally does. And there's a couple lines from that Mike White ending tag there where, did Harper and Cameron hook up? I mean, it's open to interpretation. And, there is time that's not fully accounted for in that whole situation.
Yeah.
Maybe. And then same with this. It's like, he's like, maybe they needed a little dash of the Cameron Daphne in their life to really spark it again for
Mhm.
Ethan and Harper. But what's interesting is when they were finally doing it, the mask breaks in the process. And we talked about this when we talked about the premiere. I'm not fully sure what it means because the story of the mask is at least what we're told is the story is Amor came here a long time ago and seduced a local girl. But then she found out that he had a wife and children back home. So because he lied to her, she cut his head off. And there's so much in this year alone. I mean, Cameron slept with a local girl and he has kids with Daphne at home, but also it's implied, are those even maybe possibly
Yeah.
Cameron's kids? Because when
Yep.
it's showing the trainer photo, it was
Mhm.
these kids that, these blonde haired, kids. And it's like, oh, maybe they're
Also,
not
And
Cameron's kids.
His reaction
His
at
reaction
the
to
end.
the phone call, where he
Yeah.
seems so annoyed and then flipped the switch on the way out to be, happy
Yeah.
dad. Yeah.
So there's probably a whole college thesis that you could probably write on what it all means and what it actually does. But I don't know. Cameron really likes living life on the edge, huh? He's grabbing
Dude.
Harper's leg at dinner
Oh
minutes
my
after nearly
God.
being found out about a wild night and talking to the two escorts minute before all this. But at the very end, he's hand in hand, with his wife. He slips the envelope of cash to one of them and winks back at her. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
I know. But also then they coming to the table
Yeah.
when there's been some obvious tension happening
had
and
a
just being like,
fist
hey,
fight
guys.
and almost
Yeah.
drowned each other, and no, let's have dinner.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Wild.
Nothing that some pasta and wine can't smooth out. But
Yeah.
wow. So yeah, I think that covers season 2. As much as unless you guys have any other thoughts on season 2 before we close the book on that. But
same
season
time
3,
next year. Yeah.
who knows? So Mike White was saying how kind of season 1 was really about money. That was the main topic. One guest helping a hotel worker rob the rich, and season 2, a lot about sex. And he mentioned maybe season 3 could explore how death works in like the Eastern religion. And so maybe it's something in Asia, maybe. That's what it's implying maybe
Like Thailand or something.
could be something like that, and working in faith and religion and stuff like that. But who knows? I'm sure we'll definitely be tuning in to whatever season 3 has in store.
I want my Armand prequel. Where is
That'd
it?
be cool.
Where is it?
I mean, we could. What if it's Armand and, but you also have to take Jennifer Coolidge in a prequel series as well. I'm curious to be if any of these people will come back. Obviously, Coolidge, kind of makes sense as like being a solo traveler, but because at certain points, well, do we need to have the couple come back, or just one come back? It's weird to break up that kind of dynamic of a group of 2 or a group of 3 or 4. But all right, that is it for the White Lotus, and that is it for tonight. And we have just one more show left for 2022, our yearly wind down special. Speaking of this show, we need your votes. We have over 100 votes so far, but we need more. What were your favorite movies, TV shows, pop culture moments of 2022? We need to vote in the survey. It's in our show notes. It's on our social media channels. It's on our Linktree page. Vote in that survey. Help us out for that show. We're also doing a little bit of a holiday stunt. We're doing some kind of restreaming some of our holiday movie recaps to get you in the holiday spirit. Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to try to monitor the Twitch chat to watch and comment along with it. But last week we did Jingle All the Way. This week it's everyone's favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard. So Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern in December, we're doing that. And speaking of holidays, real quick shout out to our merch store. It's hosted by Gear-O-Matic. If you need any last minute holiday gifts, you might be able to pick up some shirts or mugs or stickers or something to support Dual Redundancy. But yeah, that is it for this week. I got to thank both of you guys for joining me tonight, watching the White Lotus with me, talking Golden Globes. You can find episodes of the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, dualredundancy.com, live Monday nights on Twitch with new episodes, twitch.tv/dualredundancy, 8 p.m. Eastern, and then Tuesday nights for those holiday stunts. And you can find us on social media on Twitter and Instagram at Dual Redundancy. But that is it for tonight. That's all I got. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm John Berwick.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Dual Redundancy. Goodbye, everybody.